Good evening and thank you for watching Times News, and you're with me, Jawes Banda. But first, the headlines. Vice President Saulos Chilima calls for intensified digital industrialization in the SADC region. The Malawi Electoral Commission is in a financial predicament after its 690 million kwacha investment with Alliance Capital Limited went bad. And the Ministry of Education wants learners that have tested positive for COVID-19 to continue learning even while they are in isolation. We have these and other stories. Do stay with us. Now the news in detail. Vice President Saulos Chilima has suggested that member states of the Southern African Development Community SADC intensify digital industrialization to steer the region's development. The Vice President has also stressed the need for SADC to establish regional centers of excellence in digital technology within the region. We have a report by Matthews Kasanda.
Chilima made the remarks in his keynote address at the SADC public lecture in Lilongwe on Thursday under the theme Promoting Digitalization for Revival of the SADC Industrialization Agenda in the COVID-19 era. The Vice President says SADC should set a center of excellence in digital technology to revitalize regional industrial development. He has therefore called on the private sector to join the noble task. Mshongwe expressed gratitude to Chilima for the public lecture, not leaving out National Planning Commission, which took part in organizing the public lecture. Director General of the National Planning Commission, Thomas Muntari, also calls for the public sector to support the government.
So the private sector, when they come in big time, including, as they had suggested, putting in place a fund that can support a digitalization center in the region. And I think it was hinted that we've got so many billionaires around the region that can support that. They had suggested putting in place a fund that can support a digitalization center in the region. And I think it was hinted that we've got so many.
Meanwhile, at least 8 heads of state and government are expected to attend this year's Southern African Development Community Summit, slated for Lilongwe next week. Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Lucky Sikwese, has confirmed. We have this report.
Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Lucky Sikwese, said the SADC Summit will provide an opportunity for Malawi to show the world what it can do.
Regarding the heads of states and government that are coming in, I can confirm that we have 8 that are confirmed, and out of those we're talking of President of the Republic of Botswana, His Excellency Mokgweetsi Masisi, President of the Republic of Democratic Congo, His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi, then His Excellency Andre Nirina Jorina, President of the Republic of Madagascar, His Excellency Felipe Jacinto Nyusi, President of the Republic of Mozambique, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, and Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and His Excellency Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Lesotho, as you all know, will be represented by the Prime Minister, Ambassador Devanta. Will be represented by the Right Honorable Mokgweetsi Majoro, Prime Minister of the Republic of Lesotho.
Meanwhile, National Planning Commission Executive Director Thomas Muntari has lauded government for hosting the summit in the year it launched the long-term development blueprint, the Malawi 2063.
The Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, is in a financial predicament after its investment worth 690 million kwacha with Alliance Capital Limited went bad. The development comes after the Reserve Bank of Malawi revoked the license of the investment management firm. MEC Chairperson Justice Chifundo Kachali disclosed this in Lilongwe when MEC appeared before the Budget and Finance Committee of Parliament on Thursday to explain how the Commission used resources in the 2020-2021 financial year. Wezi Gausi files this report.
According to Kachale, failure to recoup the investment from Alliance Capital is choking the scheduled constituency demarcation exercise, which requires 1.2 billion kwacha. Kachale told the committee that the Treasury gave MEC 700 million kwacha for demarcation exercise and gave them a go-ahead to use resources raised from nomination fees from candidates. But according to Kachale, the money for the nomination fees is currently locked up in an investment the electoral body made with Alliance Capital Limited.
As a commission, we have already engaged the Alliance Capital to be able to liquidate that investment so that we can have access to those resources for MEC business.
Budget and Finance Committee of Parliament Chairperson Gladys Ganda says they will look into MEC's request during mid-year budget review.
The issue of 690 million, which is with the Alliance Capital, it's a mind-boggling issue in the sense that the funds are staying idle there, and yet we are also asking government to fund MEC.
Ganda says they will try their best to mediate for the release of funds from Alliance Capital, where the Commission invested nomination fees.
The Public Appointments Committee of Parliament, PAC, has confirmed Grace Malela as the country's new ombudsman. Malela replaces Martha Chizuma, who is now SCB Director General. According to an inside source, 5 people were contesting for the position, but Malela emerged the victor. Details to this story in our subsequent bulletins. The Ministry of Education has advised school authorities in the country to ensure that learners that have tested positive for COVID-19 continue learning even while they are in isolation, as it has been observed that some do miss out. Currently, students in isolation centers are not given learning platforms until they recover from COVID-19. Patience Lunda with the details.
In a joint statement by Ministries of Education and Health released on August 11, 2021, the schools have been asked to intensify screening and testing of students and members of staff when schools resume on August 30, 2021. In an interview, Ministry of Education Public Relations Officer Chikondi Chimala said students are supposed to be given schoolwork such as reading assignments, among others. Chimala said the move is to keep the students active as they are recovering from COVID-19.
All the material that is provided to them is done without a physical touch, but they are provided with exercises, they are provided with schoolwork, so that they keep going. That yes, there might not be a physical teacher, but at least the material they have, so that they don't miss a lot, but also that they are kept busy.
According to the statement signed by Secretaries of Education and Health, Chikonda Nomusa and Charles Mansambo respectively, students presenting signs and symptoms but tested negative will be left in their own block and a follow-up test will be conducted to determine if they should be integrated with the rest of the students. Mansambo, in a separate interview, said all students showing signs and symptoms will be tested using the rapid antigen test. Term 2 of the 2020-2021 academic calendar closes on August 13, 2021.
Minister of Agriculture, Lobin Lowe, has reiterated the need for farmers in the country to put into operation the land irrigation schemes that are currently in place. Lowe highlighted the benefits the projects bring to the farmers and emphasized the need for there to be more awareness on the importance of the schemes. Yamkan Kajaje has the details.
During a visit in Chikwawa, the minister highlighted the importance of schemes. He also visited sites at Likubula, Mwampanzi, Mtendere, and Nazolo irrigation schemes. Speaking in an interview, Lowe said there has been increased engagement with the farmers in the district to promote the use of irrigation schemes over traditional methods of watering their fields.
As a country for a long time, we have talked blind irrigation, but implementation was a challenge. And what we are doing now as a ministry and the Department of Irrigation is to make sure that implementation should be an issue now. And we have actually mobilized ourselves to make sure that at the end of the day, farmers should benefit. And what I've noted is for some schemes, it seems farmers do appreciate the importance of having water resource as a capital.
Member of Parliament for Chikwawa North, Owen Chomanika, said there have been efforts to strengthen the links between concerned stakeholders in order to ensure the district does not fall behind in its efforts to effectively utilize the irrigation projects.
We have more measures put in place. That's why we had the chance to even invite the minister to move around to give us some momentum. Otherwise, we are making effort to organize the schemes so that all the groups in the schemes are very functional, and also trying to make sure that the traditional leaders and even ourselves as public officers, we should be able to link with all stakeholders to make sure that the schemes are functioning at their maximum potential.
The irrigation potential in the country is one of the priority issues in the agricultural sector. It remains necessary to prioritize schemes development with clear timeframes and adequate budget allocations in order for them to be fully effective.
Sidco Malawi Limited is training agro dealers to improve output marketing distribution channels available to smallholder farmers in readiness for the coming planting season. At a distributors conference in Blantyre, Managing Director for Sidco, Boyd Luwe, said achieving food security is one of Malawi's major objectives that will help to deliver on the government's vision of creating wealth and employment for all people. More in this report by Llewellyn Mpasa, read in our studios by Elita Soko.
Speaking during an event in Blantyre, Sidco Malawi Managing Director Boyd Luwe said the trainings aim to equip rural agro dealers to bridge the gap between seed suppliers and smallholder farmers in readiness for the coming planting season.
Every year before the season starts, we sit together with our distributors and transporters in all the regions. So because rain starts in the south, the program starts in the southern region. So we've come to host what we call a distributors conference. We use this conference to take stock of what happened last year, and we get feedback from our distributors and transporters, the challenges they experienced, things that they noticed that were good, that we should be encouraging. Most importantly, we also share notes on what Sidco plans are for the year, new products that we've introduced, and other initiatives that we've carried out.
Sidco Commercial Director Gift Kawamba said the training supports both firms in profitability, breaking into the smallholder seeds market through the development of sales and distribution systems.
The seed quality is very important. When we look after seed in our warehouses as a seed manufacturer, we are very particular because the seed is a living thing. So we want the same care that we have when we are looking at seeds, to the same care to be transferred during the supply chain to our distributors. It doesn't make sense for a farmer to buy seed only to plant it and it doesn't grow. And most of the times problems will arise during the way the seed is handled as it leaves us as Sidco through the distributors and it gets to the farmer. So it's very key for the distributors to be taught on the ways of how to manage their warehouses as they are stock holding the seed, waiting for the farmers to come and buy from them.
The agricultural sector in Malawi accounts for 38% of the gross domestic product (GDP) and provides a livelihood for 85% of the population, and thus is expected to contribute to sustainable economic growth central to Malawi's aim to reduce poverty.
You're watching the evening bulletin here on Times Television. We'll be back shortly after this break.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. 1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about.
Mona Malawi anzanga, nkhondo yogonjetsa COVID-19 ndi ya wina aliyense. Tili limodzi. ine ndinasankha kulandira katemera wa covid-19 atangoyamba kuperekedwa chifukwa monga namwino moyo wanga umoyo wa odwala amene ndimawasamalira abale anga ndi dera langa ndi zinthu zomwe ndimazika pa mtima panga kwambiri. Katemera wa covid-19 anditeteza ine ndi ena omwe analandira katemerayo ku chiopsezo choti tingadwale mwakayakaya, kugonekedwa mchipatala kapena kutaya moyo wathu chifukwa cha covid-19. Kulandira katemerayo kutithandiza kuthana ndi muliri wa covid-19 limodzi.
Ziwani zambiri za katemerayo ndi kupanga chisankho cha nzeru. Sankhani katemera, tetezani tsogolo.
Welcome back to the news. Mzuzu City Council Workers Union has again closed office of the city's mayor councillor, Kondwani Brian Nyasulu. This is the second time the group has closed the office this month. The closure is in retaliation to a move by the mayor, who has written Mzuzu City Council Workers Union General Secretary Hudson Mnyenyembe demanding 10 million kwacha damages for defamation of accusations bordering on corruption. We have a report from Josephine Chipofia, read by Feston Malekezo.
President of the Mzuzu City Council Workers Union, Tyven Kamanga, said the mayor has failed to demonstrate leadership by demanding compensation on an issue which was resolved amicably by the Minister of Local Government a few days ago. Kamanga then describes the mayor's action as unethical that pulls down workers' morale.
They gathered here because they are very angry with the sanction that the mayor is demanding 10 million from Hudson Mnyenyembe. We don't know why he's demanding that money. And people are saying if he don't have money, let him find other source of getting money rather than demanding money from Mnyenyembe. Mnyenyembe is innocent. He was doing advocacy for the welfare of Mzuzu City Council employees.
The union's General Secretary, Hudson Mnyenyembe, said he has referred the matter to the Mzuzu City Council management for action. Meanwhile, the council's public relations officer, McDonald Gondwe, says the issue will be resolved amicably considering the importance of the mayor's office.
As a council, we are going to meet the union executive, and we also intend to meet the councillors and indeed the mayor, so that we look into the issues so that perhaps we may have an amicable solution to the issues at hand.
Nyasulu wrote the Minister of Local Government demanding an immediate transfer of Mzuzu City Council Chief Executive Officer Gomeziani Nyasulu, a letter which was later withdrawn.
Medical Aid Society of Malawi, MAZIM, has made a donation of bed covers and washing powder to Kachere Rehabilitation Center in Blantyre. MAZIM Acting Chief Commercial Officer Bernard Ambali said the gesture is part of the existing partnership between the two institutions. He explains.
Right, the donation that we've made today is a donation that should help the institution, especially in ensuring that there is cleanliness at this place. We have donated some bed covers and duvets and some washing powder to ensure that the environment is clean for the patients that are served at this place. Let me first say that the partnership between MAZIM and the Kachere Rehabilitation Center is a long-standing partnership. We have been in partnership for more than 10 years, and even last year we were also at this place to make a similar donation. So this is just a continuation of the friendship that is there between MAZIM and the Kachere Rehabilitation Center.
And board chairperson for Kachere Rehabilitation Center, Tom Mamadi, said the assistance will go a long way in reducing some of the challenges that they are facing.
The donation that we received today will go a long way in assisting us, because this will go direct to affect the patients that we have. They will be able to sleep peacefully, they will be able to sleep warmly, because it's cold time and they are sick, so they need somewhere to sleep warm. With the donation of duvets that we received, with the washing powders that we received, that will go a very long way in assisting us. At the moment, the biggest challenge that we have is with the COVID, that a lot of people are not coming through because of the fears of COVID, but otherwise operationally we need devices that we should assist our patients with. We need treadmills, we need dumbbells so that we're able to help them exercise and then get better fast. So we need so much equipment in the gym so that people are able to get back on their feet quickly.
Law firm Ritz Attorneys has donated 12 million kwacha to the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Malawi, ICAM, for their annual leg conference slated to take place in Mangochi. The conference is meant to discuss how the country can move forward regardless of current economic challenges. Yamkan Kajache has the details.
This is the first time that the Accounting Society has gone into partnership with a law firm in such a manner. Speaking in an interview, ICAM Chief Executive Officer Francis Gondwe expressed gratitude towards the law firm and said it would ensure the conference is successful.
This is very significant in the sense that it will assist us to meet our operational costs for the conference, but more importantly, this donation signifies the collaboration that exists between Ritz Attorneys and the Institute. The theme for this year's conference touches on the economic rough terrain in the midst of COVID-19 and other economic challenges. We believe that at this conference, the participants will discuss the practical solutions together to solve these problems moving forward.
Ritz Attorneys, Head of Corporate Social Responsibility and Public Relations, Luzinda Mvundula, said this donation represents a pioneering of collaboration between the profession of lawyers and accountants.
This essentially means Ritz Attorneys is pioneering a collaboration between lawyers and accountants. We all know that lawyers and accountants converge in certain ways, but now we would like to formally pioneer this partnership with the accounting profession. The intention is to achieve collaboration. We realize that there are so many points at which lawyers and accountants converge, and in the growing world where we are all relevant to the economy, we believe that we stand more to gain in collaboration than in competition.
The 2021 Lakeshore Conference is slated to take place in September and will have the Vice President of Malawi, Saulus Chilima, deliver the keynote address.
In international news, Zambians have been voting in general elections, which have seen 14 presidential candidates contesting. Incumbent President Edgar Lungu, who faces a stiff challenge from opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema, was among the first people to vote as polls opened in the capital, Lusaka. More in this report by BBC's Nomsa Maseko.
An early start to make their mark. Long queues formed at polling stations as millions of Zambians waited eagerly to cast their ballots, with some choosing to entertain the crowds. The much-anticipated election resulted in a high voter turnout.
Well, we commend the people of Zambia for the great turnout. You see a lot of enthusiasm. Everybody's anxious to exercise his or her civic right. And it is good. A lot of, there is an congestion in some of the polling stations and others, but things are moving on very well.
For the first time in the country's history, 16 presidential candidates are vying for the top post. But this will be a showdown between the incumbent president, Edgar Lungu, and his longtime rival, Hakainde Hichilema. Both contenders are confident of an outright win.
So we are winning. That's my race, we are winning.
And your way to
I wouldn't have been in the race if we're not winning. No, we're a winning team.
And the important thing is that the decision of who becomes president, who lead this country, must be determined by the Zambian people, the voters, not the people who count the vote. That's number one.
Whoever wins will have a tough task of rebuilding the country's economy and reducing mounting debt.
More than 50% of registered voters are young people under the age of 35. And that is visible here at the University of Zambia and across many other polling stations around the country. They are hopeful their votes will unlock a better future.
We all know that the economy is bad. Yeah, the economy is crawling. So what I hope for is that we have a better Zambia with the best economy. Our kwacha should appreciate. So yeah, so we can compete with the foreign markets fairly.
Your first-time voter, how do you feel?
Excited, because I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, and so now we're here hoping for the very best.
Political tension and clashes had been reported in the lead-up to the polls. This led to the deployment of thousands of law enforcement agencies to monitor polling stations. It's hoped political rivals will accept the will of the people when results are announced in the next few.
Well, that's all we had for you for now. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Vice President Saulos Chilima calls for intensified digital industrialization in the SADC region. The Malawi Electoral Commission is in a financial predicament after its 690 million investment with Alliance Capital Limited went bad. And the Ministry of Education wants learners that have tested positive for COVID-19 to continue learning while they are in isolation. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe. You have been with me, Jawes Banda. Goodbye.